Hi, good morning. Okay, just give me 1 minute. So we are going to start with JDBC today. So after doing all the setup across 2 3 sessions, it's time that we start with the actual deployment. So there are people who are joining on here. Okay. So now JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. Yeah, it stands for. Oh, I'm sorry, I've not sent for. Sorry. We'll wait for them to join in. Okay, I'm sorry for those who did not get the link. I think I made a mistake while pasting it there. Okay, please join in uh, YouTube live. We will be doing the session there. I'm sorry, I forgot to add the message in one group. I see a lot of people joining in now. We haven't started. We just wrote the title. That's it. So those who have joined in Google Meet, kindly please. I have posted the link in the chat box. Please join in live, and I will switch there now. Okay. So as we said, we are starting with the concept of JDBC. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. Java Database Connectivity. Now, when you talk about Java Database Connectivity, it is simply what? It is a way of having your Java application getting connected to the database. Yeah, it is a way of having your Java application. So it will, when you talk about it, it will say it's an API which helps Java application. It is an API which helps Java application to connect with an RDBMS. Now, in our situation, what is the RDBMS we are planning to use? You know what is the name of the RDBMS we are planning to use? We are making use of PostgreSQL. Yeah, we are making use of PostgreSQL. So, yeah. So what will happen here is JDBC API can connect with underlying RDBMS using appropriate driver. Yeah, they can connect it using appropriate driver. Okay. So how will that look like? The whole diagram connectivity here will look something like this. That you have a Java application. Yeah, you have a Java application. Java application will use the JDBC API. Java application will make use of JDBC API. And with the JDBC API, yeah, what will happen? The JDBC API need to connect with the database. The ultimate aim is what we need to connect with the database. So here we have got what PostgreSQL. Let's say we have got our PostgreSQL here. Now this PostgreSQL, obviously Java cannot speak the language of database and database cannot speak the language of Java. So they both need to connect with each other. Yeah, they both have to connect with each other. How will that connection happen? Yeah, how will that connection happen? So for connection to happen, they require something what we call as driver in between. Yeah, the job of the driver is to convert what Java is talking into the language of backend, and what backend is giving, I need to convert that into the language of Java. So that will be connect. That will be done by whom? That will be done by your driver here. So what will happen here? See, the JDBC API basically, yeah, the JDBC API. This is provided by Java. So this is an inbuilt part right now. If you go to java.sql package, you will be able to get this. So this is provided by Java, whereas the driver, which is required for connecting with the backend, it is provided by the vendor. It is provided by RDBMS vendor. Now, who is this RDBMS vendor in this situation? It is PostgreSQL. Yeah. So I told you yesterday, right? Like when we did the Maven implementation, either you can use Maven, a build tool where you can go and find out which SQL or which driver we want to use with, or you can get the jar file and then work on it. So that both of the things are possible. Yeah, both of the things are possible. But overall, like, are you understanding what do we exactly mean by when I say we are going to talk about JDBC? This is what JDBC architecture API eagle eye view will look like. Are we getting this? Like, first point clear, how this is going to happen? Are we getting this part, everyone? Yes, no, maybe something. Yep. Now, what will happen here? All the classes and interfaces required to work with JDBC API. Yeah, required to work with JDBC API are available in a package. That package is what? Java.sql package. Yeah, that package is what? Java.sql package. Yeah. So this is a package in Java, and now all the components of JDBC API are what? Yeah, there are multiple components in JDBC API, starting from very important component, and these are all the classes and interfaces when we are working with them. So the very important component, first one is what? A driver class. Okay. Then we have got what is we called as driver manager. Then we have got connection. Then we have got what is statement. Then there are another type of statement which also we call as prepared statement. Then when we get the data back, we get the data in something what we call as result data. Sorry, result set. Yeah, we get the data back in something what we called as result set. And when we get the data back, we get that data in, like, if we want to get the metadata about it, it will be result set metadata. Okay, it will be result set metadata. Out of all this, one of the very important component is something what we call as driver manager. Driver manager is also considered to be like what, heart of JDBC. Yeah? It is considered to be the heart of JDBC. So it is something which is responsible for making sure that whenever you are working with JDBC, yeah, whenever you are working with JDBC, it will be the component which is responsible for making sure, yeah, it will be the component which is responsible for making sure that the things work perfectly fine for JDBC. Yeah. So how will that happen? Now, if I consider this, Consider your Java application can be connecting with various multiple things here. Yeah, it can be getting connected with various multiple things. How will that look like? Yeah, how will that look like? So you have a Java application. You have a Java application. Java application is responsible for connecting with JDBC API. So now how does that JDBC API internally looks like? See, that JDBC API can internally look like this. Yeah, consider this is an internal working of my JDBC API. Now JDBC API, as I have discussed, yeah, the JDBC API, the Java application will connect with the JDBC API. The JDBC API will be looking something like this. Internally, it will connect. I have got my JDBC API. Now, the first component JDBC API will connect is something what we call as driver manager. Okay. Now, see what can happen whenever you are trying to connect with an application. That application can connect with so many databases, so many drivers can be loaded. So, consider I have got list of drivers. I have got drivers for MySQL. I have got driver for Oracle, and I have got driver for Postgre. Now, which one we do want to work with? Like if we say our application, even though these three different database drivers are loaded, which one is something we want to connect with? Because our database is what? Postgre. Our database is PostgreSQL. We need to connect with, yeah, we need to connect with this driver, but this particular driver manager here. Now it will be responsible that there are multiple elements out here. We have Postgre, we have Oracle, we have this one, and this is like my Java application, and this whole component is working under my JDBC API. Now Postgre driver will do what? The driver manager will go and connect with the Postgre driver, so it will make the choice at runtime. It will make that choice at runtime, and it will help you to add up that details into the backend. Yeah, that will help you to add up the details inside the backend. So this way, what will happen? Yeah, this way what will be happen that all my data gets loaded here. Yes, so this is my JDBC API. Getting this, how this will work, everyone? Getting an idea about it, how this is going to work, which database we need to connect, how it will connect, and what exactly is supposed to be done. Yeah, this diagram is clear for everyone. Is this clear? Yes, no, maybe something. Yeah. Also, just a minute, everyone. What I wanted to make an announcement. What Arun sir have said. So, okay. So, what we do next? Okay, thank you. Like, let's. Yeah. Now, what do we do next is let's open our UI and start working with the further part. So, what are the steps? Now, this is a very good question which you will always get in databases. See, now as we are also talking about for YCMOU papers, we need to remember that whenever you get questions, the questions do you have, any one of you have got that study material something? Any one of you have that the study material scenario something? You get some notebooks from your college, right? Like the textbook sort of things from your college. See, I have certain notes which I have created. I think I will share that with you later on. Just remind me, okay? I had created that long back, but they still work fine for your college. So we don't have any problem with that working. So what we'll do is we'll start with the internal working. And see, what I'm doing is JDBC still is a very relevant topic. So I will talk about it, and you can or you didn't get any textbook from Sem1, no problem, Sufyan. But don't worry, for the JDBC part, I am covering of what is required into the market right now. And from that, we will just derive, see what college requires. Anyhow, we are talking about JDBC. Why not use the proper level here itself rather than just going without the JDBC part here, right? Like, just I don't want to stick to the university syllabus. Let's see how exactly the things work for us. So here, what are the steps for connecting JDBC with database? Yeah, what are the steps for connecting JDBC with database? So I will divide this into 6 or 7 steps. Okay, I will divide this into 6 or 7 steps, and let us take those steps one by one. So I have got my step one. Now, step one is very simple: import the required packages. Let's import the required packages. Now, all the classes and interfaces. So, all the classes and interfaces required to work with JDBC API are in java.sql package. Yeah, they are in java.sql package. So what we'll do, we'll say import java.sql.start. Yeah, the how will we write the piece of code here? It is going to be java.sql.start. So the very first time we line, see these all will give you marks in your exam. Huh? I know this is a very small step, but this will give you marks in your exam. So what is the first step we write here? Is import java.sql.start. Now what we need to do is, let's say second step is, now consider this is like buying a mobile and making a call. Yeah, let's see the analogy like that. That we are buying a mobile, we need to make a call. What will be the overall process? Process समझना पड़ेगा, right? We need to have an overall process. How does that overall process now looks like? Yeah, how does that overall process looks like? So here, what we need to do is, yeah, here what we need to do is consider you buy a mobile, you buy a SIM card. Now let's see the steps in that order. So what will be the next step now? Step two, load and register the driver. Load and register the driver. Okay. Yeah, so I am loading and registering the driver. So that is my step 2. Yeah, that is my step 2. So here what we'll do is driver which is provided by driver. Who is providing this driver? Provided by your vendor. This is an important step because this is something you're not adding up here. So driver which is provided by vendor has to be loaded explicitly, has to be loaded explicitly by calling a static method for name in java.c. In Java there is a class by name class. So there is, in the Java package there is a java.lang dot class. Okay, so how will that load now? See, class dot for name. And how do you load that driver? So see, it is like a mobile phone. Can a mobile phone work with an Airtel SIM card? Yes. Can a mobile phone work with a Geo SIM card? Yes. Can a mobile phone work with a Vodafone SIM card? Yes. So what happens? But the SIM cards are different, right? The look, the design of the SIM cards are different. Like the structure is same, but the branding and other things are different. Correct? Same way, now you can consider your JDBC API is like the mobile phone, but the SIM card you want to use it is dependent upon what you want. So here, when I'm dealing with Postgres, I will say org.postgre dot driver. This is the name of the exact driver we want to use. So this is one of it. Then when I'm using with MySQL, how will I do that? Class dot for name, and here I can say com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver. So when we write a driver, it will become like this. Yeah, this is how we write a load a driver into our application. That we tell them this is what we want, we tell them this is what we want. So this one was for my mysql, and one was for my, yeah, one was for my mysql, one was for my postgres. Understanding? So which one we will use in our application? We will be using this. But tomorrow if you change your database, what will happen? Yeah, tomorrow when you change your database, it will automatically then be happen what? We can change your, go to any other driver, and you need to find out what is the driver url. You need to specify, you need to tell them what is the fully classified name of my driver. Okay, then now you tell me, when you buy a phone, yeah, when you buy a phone and you buy a sim card, do you need to insert the sim card into that phone manually? Do you need to insert that sim card into the phone manually? Yes, no? Do you need to insert that SIM card into your phone manually? Yes, no. But do you need to go and stand below the tower for the network to be registered, or it will be done automatically for you? Do we also need to add the version of driver? No, no, you don't need to add that. It will be taken from the jar file, or from the, you can say this will be from the jar file or from the dependency what you have given. It will automatically do that. So what will happen here is the driver which is loaded manually, now that will be loaded driver will be implicitly registered with driver manager. Okay, they will be implicitly registered with driver manager. So this is good. We are doing this driver manager part. Then comes the very important part. Now you have got phone number. Now you have got phone. You have got SIM card. SIM card is registered with the network. Now I need to make a call. How will I make the call? So that step is where we actually start connecting with the backend, and that step is nothing but my step 3. Step 3 is what? Establish connection. I need to now make a connection to my backend. How will I do this? how will I do this particular part? So here, what we need to do, so connection object is like a session with database. It's not that every time the session is open. Connection is like, you see, I am having a session with you right now, I have a connection with you, but like let's say after 1 hour, 1.5 hour, we will stop this session, right? And then I will go and do something else. So the connection or session will not be available then. So when you are connected with the backend, that particular object is represented using what? Your connection. So here, what we do, to acquire the connection to the DB, we need to call get connection method. Yeah, we need to call get connection method of driver manager. Now driver manager have a method called as get connection, and this driver manager, like once this connection is created, we need to provide, for getting this connection we need to provide JDBC URL and credentials. Yeah, we need to provide the JDBC URL and the credentials of the backend to make that connection with the database. Obviously, anytime you open that PostgreSQL, does it require to give any connection there, or does it require to give any credential there? Obviously, it will require the credentials, without which it will not be happening. So here, what we are doing, we need to make sure that we provide that connection by getting the JDBC URL. Now, how will we do that for the JDBC URL? So, how does the JDBC URL looks like? A JDBC URL is made up of three things. A JDBC URL is made up of three things. First, what we have is what we call as base protocol. Colon, it's separated by colon. Then we have something what we call as sub protocol. And then we have got colon. We have got something what we call as subname. Okay, we have got something called as subname. Base protocol looks like this. Base protocol looks like this. Then it is separated by your colon, separated by your colon. Then your sub protocol looks like this. Your sub protocol looks like this. And then your subname will be here. So base protocol in our situation will always be what? You know what it will be? It will always be JDBC. The way you have HTTP, right? Every time you write a URL, you write either HTTP or HTTPS. Same way, this is the base protocol. Now, the sub protocol is more or less RDBMS specific. It is RDBMS specific. So what are the possible options when you are working with Postgre? It will be Postgre, SQL, MySQL. When you are working with Oracle, it will be Oracle. When you are working with Microsoft SQL, it will become SQL Server. Okay, it will become SQL Server. Then the last part, which is the subname, is what we have is database specific. It is database specific. Now in the database specificity, what we need to do here is we need to pass the IP address plus the port number plus the name of the DB we want to connect to. Plus we need to pass name of the DB we want to connect to. So how will this overall connectivity session look like? The whole plot here will look something like this. See, for getting the URL, first will I need to do what? Create my JDBC URL. So I'll say string URL is equal to JDBC colon Postgre SQL colon slash slash localhost colon 5432 slash, let's say, Hinduja College. I give HC just as a name here. I don't want to, like, there is no space in the end, so I'll just give the name of the database as HC. Yeah. Then what will be the string? What will be the username of my database? The name of the database is what? Postgres is the name of the user. Then by default it is Postgres. Okay. Then my password is what? Admin. Yeah, password is what? Admin. And then I will get the connection object. So how will I connect the connection object? Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection, where we pass what? URL, user, and password. We pass three things. So this will become how do we connect with the backend. This will define how do we connect with the backend. Okay. This whole code will be responsible for getting us the connection. How about till this point? Let us give it a try. Yeah, let us give this a try and how this work exactly. So what will you do now? You will start your idea. You start your IntelliJ, and also side by side also open your PG admin. Also open your PG admin. Yeah, both the things as opened will now help us to make the connection and work properly here. It's not compulsory that database should be open. That is not a compulsion. It takes time for me to open sometimes. So, okay, now this is open. My IntelliJ is open. So what we'll do is, first thing, let us create a new project. Yeah, let us create a new project. New project is yesterday, based upon yesterday we know how to start with this, right? So we have got Maven, and let us call it as what? JDBC demo. I don't want to create a git repo here. Yeah, no worries, I don't need to create a git repo. So it will be what? My JDBC demo. And or let me call it as JDBC playground. I will use in my archetype, let me make use of quick start. From yesterday, you remember, right? We'll select quick start from here. And in my properties, I have got what? Com.codewidget. This is fine. I will wait for a minute here. Please let me know once you are done adding, like, completed this part. Please let me know so that we can go ahead and start writing the code for JDBC. Yeah, please let me know once you're done with this part. So I've kept all the settings enabled here. Please let me know in the chat box once you're done adding this. Okay. Yeah. So we have selected, and I hope you have selected the proper architecture type here. I will create this in a new window. Now, what is that? What is the dependency we want to import? What is the dependency we want to import here? You see in my pom.xml now, we have got no dependencies. See, dependencies is added. I want to add a dependency for Postgre. We need the Postgre dependency. So for that reason, what will I do is, let me go to, you remember from where we took, right? Postgre driver, exactly. So for Postgre driver, yesterday we saw it from where, what's it? MDN Postgre driver, whatever version we want. Like I'll just select the latest one, this which is this one. I will just take this code and I will do what? This one I am giving you the code in chat box. I am giving you the code in chat box. So you can pick this code from here and add the dependency into your application. For those who have not yesterday attended the session, I would recommend go back and check the Maven, because we will be doing a lot of Maven. So it's your choice now how you cope up with that. I have taken a dedicated section yesterday for getting into the Maven. And once you do that, what will you do? Left side, you'll go to Maven and you will reload the application. You will reload the application. See this way. Or if you see, whenever you load a new, so this is where the dependency is loaded. Yeah, this is where my dependency is loaded. Now what we need to do is we need to connect with the database. Yeah, have you added the dependency, everyone? Have you all added the dependency? Okay, next what we'll do is, this is our package, right? This is our package. Let me inside this package, this is my main. So here let me create uh, connection test dot java file. Yeah, I will say connection test dot java file. I'll write my main method. I will write my main method. Inside my main method, first step is what? Import java.sql.star. Yeah, import java.sql.star. So whenever you write main, you need to remember that we need to load the connection. For loading the connection, what are the things we need? First is what? Class dot for name. It's com dot postgre sql dot driver. This is the name of the driver we want to load. Now this has to go inside a try catch block. If you see, this is going to throw an exception. So always whatever you do here, it has to go inside a in a try catch block, so that the exception can be taken care. And I will just say e dot print stack trace. And what is the first thing I do here? Class dot for name com dot PostgreSQL dot driver. Then I need to write my JDBC URL. So I'll say what string URL is what JDBC PostgreSQL localhost 5432, and what I will just replace the name of my database. So what is the name of my database here? The name is Hinduja underscore 25 under 24 underscore 25 underscore ty. Yeah. So it will be like Hinduja underscore 24 underscore 25 underscore ty. Then string user is Postgres. Then string password for me is admin. And then I'll have to say my connection object is driver manager dot get connection. Once I get the connection object, I will say if connection not equals to null, I will simply just say system.out.println connection established successfully. Okay. If something goes wrong, it will tell me here in my code. So I do what? I run this file. So it will open my terminal now. Okay, something went wrong. It says not able to find com.postgres. Okay. See, whenever the file loads, it will always come inside your Postgres. Here I can say org.postgresql. Why did postcom here? It is org, not C. So this is the type of exceptions you will get. And I run my file again. See, the connection is established. So we have been successfully able to test our first three steps. I would like you to try this out quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Please let me know once you're done with this part of the code. and if the connection is getting established. See if this code is getting you the output. It should say connection is established. So this is how it will give you, or else you will get an error or an exception. Yeah, are you done with this code? So please make sure you use the correct name of the database here. If you can notify me in the chat box, will be awesome. That if your connection established has happened. This is the final code, like with the try catch exception, and then we have got this curly braces ending. Yeah, are we done? Are we done with this part, everyone? Yeah. So just for saving some time, I'll do what I will give you this particular code in our code share somewhere for now, so that you can. I've given you the link in the chat box for the code share. You can try out this code. I wanted you to see this is something which will be doing one time. Yeah, this is something we will do one time, and it should be available with you as well. So this is my code share. Just change the name of your database. If your password is something else, please add that password. Do not use the same password as mine. If you have admin, kept it admin, no problem. But if you have not kept it admin, please make use of the password you need. And yeah, that's it. So this is how we will connect with the database. Now the next step is we will go back and see how we create a statement, because this is how we connect to the database. Now the next step required is where we will see how the connection happens to the database. So connection has happened. Now what we need to do is we need to understand what are, like, how do we pass the query to the backend. Yeah, how do we pass the query to the backend? So statement is like a connection. As I said, it's like next part is what we will use is here we have something called as statement. So we have got our step 4, that is what, create a statement. When we want to create a statement, so see, try understand. When we connect on a call, someone makes that call, and now what we need to do next is we need to pass on the statements from that call. So statement is like a container to pass SQL query to the backend. Yeah, we need to pass the SQL query to the backend. So who will the who, what object we will pass our queries from? We will pass the query to the backend using the statement object. Okay. So statement are of three types. Statement are of three types. One is a normal statement which is represented by java.sql.statement, and then they have two sub interfaces. This is actually an interface. So we have got two sub interfaces. One is what, something very popularly called as prepared statement, and one is what we call as callable statement. One is what we call as callable statement. One is prepared statement. One is callable statement. So to acquire a statement, there are multiple ways. Yeah, to acquire a statement, there are multiple ways. How will that happen? Yeah. So statement object is created using like something like this. We have got statement stmt is equal to con dot create statement. Okay, and we do not pass the query here. Yeah, we do not pass the query here. Another way of creating a statement is what, for prepared statement. When we pass the things as prepared statement, we say prepared statement pstmt is equal to con dot. See, the name of the function will change now. It will be what, con dot prepare statement. And here we have to pass the query while the statement is created. And also for callable statements. So callable statement are basically used for working with, what are the procedure calls, right? You have the procedure calls in databases. So when we have to use with that, we make use of callable statement. So I say callable statement CSTMT is equal to con dot prepare call. And here also I will pass my query. Yeah, here too I will pass my query. How will this look like? See. So this is an important way of how these things are done. Yeah. So we have got statement, we have got prepared statement, and we have got callable statement. Now there is a difference between when all these three type of statements are working. Yeah. When all these three types of statements are working, there is a difference between them. What is that difference? Let us understand that now. When you create, when you create a normal statement, how does that work? See, when you create a normal statement, every query you pass will be compiled. If I am firing that query for, let's say, 100 times, yeah, whenever that query is fired, here it will be compiled for 100 times, and it will then be executed for 100 times. But that is not the case when it comes to prepared statement. When it comes to prepared statement, the query is only compiled once and executed for 100 times. And when it comes to the call, it is again the same thing. It is compiled once and executed for as many as time you want. Yeah. So what happens here is, when you write a query, now see which one is what which one do you think so is more suitable option? Yeah, which one do you think so is more suitable option? Statement or prepared statement? Because if I want to work with, like, I want a good performance, I will obviously go, if this is compiling 100 time and executing 100 time, obviously it is a problem. So you will see most of the time we are going to use what? Prepared statement. But you might also get a question in your exam, like explain statement and prepared statement. So you'll have to list out the difference between these two as well. Okay. Now what we need to do next is, how will be the query? Now just to give you a simple scenario, what will happen? Query for prepared statement comes with placeholder. It always comes with placeholder. Yeah, it always comes with a placeholder. Now what is that placeholder? See, the query will look something like this: string query is equal to, let's say, insert into customers, yeah, and let's say this is my query, so it is name, email, contact, account type. Okay. And let's say account creation date. So how will you write values? And now you don't write the values inside the query itself. What you do, you write it with question mark. So it will be what? Question 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So these questions here are nothing but these values. So it will be like first question, second question, third question. So these indexes are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then when you write the query, you will have to actually make sure that you use that query accordingly and start working on it. Yeah, you will use that query accordingly and then you will start working on it. So we'll talk about prepared statement in a while. Yeah, we'll come back to prepared statement again. And before that, let us see how do we execute a query. Now queries are how many types? You know how many types of queries are there? So this will be what? Step 5. Execute the query. Step 5. Execute the query. So when we want to execute the query, SQL statements are of three types. Can you tell me what are the three types of SQL statement? SQL statements are of three types. We have got, yeah, what are the types we have? DDL, which is what? Data definition language. Then what we have is DML, data manipulation language. And then we have got DRL, which also stands for. We also have data control language, but I'm not talking about that right now. This is mostly what we call as data retrieval language. Now, obviously, if you are working with all these different type of queries, do you think so? They will all have different way of execution. Like when you create a database, the response will be different. When you create a manipulation, the response will be different. And when you fire the select query, the response will be different. Yes, no? Yeah. So what are the normally the queries that fall under this? What are the queries that will fall under this create? Create, alter, drop. We will fall under what? DDL. Then in DML, what will come and what will be there? Insert, update, delete. And then in DRL, we'll normally have what? Our select statement. We will have our select statement. So now, obviously, based upon this different type of implementation, the queries and the return types will be also differing, all will also differ. So let's create a simple table, understand how that query will fire. Considering we are working with prepared statement, considering we are working with prepared statement, we have different type of queries, starting with DDL, DML, and then we also have DRL, right? We have DRL. Now, these are the type, correct? These are my type of how they will work. Now, what are the methods I will make the call to? How will the call happen? And what will be the return type? So we need to figure that out. Okay. So here, what we have got when we make the call, it goes something like this: pstmt dot execute. So you need to execute your query like this. When you try data manipulation language, any type, it is insert, update, delete. How will be the function call happen? pstmt dot execute update. So if your query type is what? DDL, you how will you make the call? It will be pstmt.execute. If it is DML, it will become what? pstmt.execute update. And when it is DRL, it will be what? pstmt.execute query. pstmt.execute query. And what will it return now? What will it return? For first one, this returns you a boolean value. Yeah, this returns you a boolean value. DML returns you an integer. Yeah, and query, the execute query returns you something what we call as result set, an object of result set. So here what we do is, when we get the output, see, the output can either be what? False, and it can be true. So now there is a bit inversion here. If it returns you false, that means the creation was successful. I know it is bit different, it should be true. And when it is true, that means the table creation or whatever you try to do have failed. Your int returns you number of rows which are affected. Yeah, the number of rows which are affected. And in result set, it returns you the result of query in a tabular format. Yeah, it will give you the result of the query in a tabular format. So are we getting this? These are three different type of queries which we are going to fire. Yeah, these are different type of queries which we are going to fire, and this is what we get with this. Okay, so next what we do, let's try one of the example, which is what, let's say the DDL query. Yeah, once let us try the one which is for fetching the results. I will divide this step. See, I'm leaving this one page blank here because I want to discuss about prepared statement later on when we go for the DML part. For now, what I want to do here is work with my step 6, which is fetch the results. Yeah, which will help me to fetch the results, and I will divide this step in three parts. Let's go for step 6.1 first, which is nothing but my DDL. Yeah, which is nothing but my DDL. So how will I write the query here? I will say string query is equal to create table test. Okay, and I only want two things here: ID integer, name text. Yeah, name is text, or you can use varchar, whatever you are comfortable with in data types. And then you will say what? You will say prepared statement pstmt is equal to con dot prepare statement of query, con dot prepare statement of query, and then you get the boolean status. Boolean status is equal to, because it's a DDL query, what is the function I'll use? Execute. Because it's a DDL query, I will use the function of execute. Okay, I will make use of function of execute. So let us try this out. Like what I'll do is I will copy paste this whole example straight away, control C, control V, and let us call it as what? Create table. Yeah, let's call it as what? Create table. So okay, in my create table, everything else is as it is. Now what I need to do, after I load the connection, I will say string query is equal to create table test, id integer, name text. So this is my query now. Then I do what? Prepared statement pstmt is equal to con dot prepare statement of my query, and then I say boolean status is equal to pstmt dot execute. And when I get this status back, if the status is false, that means if it is not of a status, I will say system.out.println. I can simply say that table created successfully. Yeah. Or if not, it will actually give you that the status was not working, so I don't need this connection object anymore. And then I do what? Try to run this one. Okay, it says relation test already exists. So if I go back, I think we have created a test table the other day, right? We have created the test table the other day. If we check in the schemas, I already in my tables had test with id and name. Let me call it as test underscore one. And now I run this again. So this time using our code, the table should have been created here in my backend. So if I go back, if I refresh, see, now there are two tables created. One is test underscore one, which was created using my Java code now. Are you understanding how will we make use of JDBC for the things we want to do here? Yep. Can you give this a try? You just need to copy paste the previous one. Yeah, you just need to copy paste the previous one. How about we'll try this out quickly, see if it is working for everyone. Copy paste the previous one and just add this part. Let me know once you're done with this. Okay, Hari, which part you want to? Yeah. See, what happens is I will fire the query. I need to know the status, right? Whether the table is created or not. So this will give me a boolean value back. So if you see the concept of execute function, it executes the SQL statement in this prepared statement, which may be any kind of SQL statement. Some prepared statement results return multiple results. The execute method handle this complete statement as well as simpler form of statement handled by the method of execute query and execute update. Execute method returns a boolean to indicate that form of the first result. You must call either the get result set or get update count to retrieve the result. You must call more result to move any subsequent result. So the true if the first result is a result set object, false if the result set is an update count or there is no result. So here, am I firing any sort of a result set query? No, I am firing a query which will give me whether the table was created or not. So if I get a false, that means there was no problem at all. Yeah. And if you try to run this again, what will happen? See, you will get an exception now. This time you get an exception. See, because if I try to execute it again, it will say the table already exists. So you can handle that exception properly. Yeah, you can. If you know exception handling, you can handle that error then, right? Is this clear for everyone? What we have done? So far, everyone clear with what we have done? We have covered quite a bit today. So let me know once you're done with the coding part. Or do you want me to send you this code? Do you want me to send this code? Yeah, let's put it inside a git repo. So I was going to fix that git repo part first. Let me do that from what we did yesterday. I guess I don't remember exactly where I have done. I might create a new repository and delete the yesterday's one. Okay, that maven demo had a git repo, so which was creating a problem. So if I say cmd what's this? Okay, so this is, let us check whether the JDBC also have any git repo inside it. Yeah, I don't need this git repo. Okay, we'll see that. But for now, what I'll do is JDBC session one. Okay. I will switch from yesterday's repository. I just want to have one single repository for all the topics we do. So I don't want to create multiple different repositories. I will delete this repository from yesterday. Don't worry, the code will be there. See, deleting a repository is not something it gives you very easily. So now we'll let us create a quickly a repository. Call it as what? Hinduja TY advanced. Okay, create a repo. And now let's push this into my remote. So call it as origin. Still JDBC is only gone. That should not be the case. The Maven should also go. That is why I am creating from this repository, the main one. Why it is only picking. Okay, see the Maven and both of them are now in this, so you can go into individual folders, get your things sorted. Yeah, this way, just check this out once. Like you're able to access both of them, right? The code we did yesterday, the code we did today. So all the things we have done in JDBC Playground. And you know what? When you are inside this folder and you want to check how to access this, like you want to just go to the codes and anything, you can do what? Just go to GitHub 1s rather than github.com. Just go to GitHub 1s. It will open your code like it is a VS code in your repository. See, it's all on your browser, so you can go through the codes like this. And this is all happening on GitHub. Yeah, so only thing you need to do is replace GitHub with GitHub 1s. That's it. Okay. We can use if not exist. Yeah. Sanchit, you can now make changes anywhere, anytime in the database part the way you want. There is no what you can say restrictions on that. Anytime you can work on anything you want, right? So this is all about what we have done in our JDBC initial part. So next session, whenever we meet, it mostly the next session is going to be in college. So as we have discussed, so we will do what? We will continue for insert update and more advanced parts. So next session we'll be wrapping up with JDBC, and then possibly we'll also start with Apache Tomcat, which is for servlet JSPs. Okay, thank you.